He took on the American right wing of his day, its worst evils: hatred of immigrants, contempt for the truth, greed, and the abuse of power. We are fighting those same evils today. We have a president who started out when the country was together and had a wonderful leader, and he is tearing us limb from limb, destroying every institution.
Let's talk about this Donald Trump, even though we don't want to. Let's bring it on the panel for this.
He's a car salesman. He's a used car salesman.
Absolutely.
And he's, you know, he didn't make America great again, but he did turn back the odometer. So who knows what the hell is wrong with us?
I mean, that son of a bitch, you know, is really unbelievable.
Mr. Son of a bitch.
I mean,
Mr. Son of a bitch.
His loyal. Yes, no, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this, and I hope we don't ever have another president like this again. I mean, I never even imagined there would ever be a situation in which the president of our country was celebrating hundreds of Americans losing their jobs. But somebody who took pleasure in that. That to me is the absolute opposite of what a leader of this country is supposed to be.
Donald Trump cannot stand more than court dates, bad polls, or truth itself. Comedians who won't play along. Jim Carrey and Jimmy Kimmel didn't leak a file or crack a safe. They did something far more dangerous to a politician obsessed with image. They told the truth on big stages to big audiences with jokes that carry receipts. And that's the dark secret exposed on live TV.
There are situations in life, and this is one of them, where there must be a winner and loser.
A thin skin wrapped around an obsession with ratings, loyalty, and controlling the narrative. Let's start with Jim Carrey. If you only know him for rubber-face comedy, you miss the entire second act. For years, Carrey used his art and public platform to chronicle Trumpism, not as partisan fluff, but as a running ledger of behavior. The flattery tests, the rage at critics, the demand that everyone else live inside his reality show. Carrey's paintings weren't gotchas. They were diagnosis. They said, this is what power looks like when it only loves a mirror.
It's hard to understand what's going on. I mean, I really, one minute you feel like, oh my gosh, this is going to be, now the landslide's going to start. And then there'll be some other weaselly little, sidestep they do or whatever it is. And, this administration is a rabid dog, and it's turning us upside down. And all, as far as I'm concerned, it's as obvious as the nose on your face. You can make a bad decision about a candidate. It's not who you are. It doesn't mean you're dumb. It doesn't mean you're different. It doesn't mean, the trouble with what's happening right now is these really negative forces like the Steve Bannons of the world are convincing us that we're separate, that we're not the same country, that there's two countries. There's not two countries. I can break bread with anybody in this country. I love people in this country. I love the heartland of this country. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, it's become obvious that the choice was a bad one. We just need to change it. And if you can't vote for a Democrat, at least let all this flood of information that's so negative and so obvious keep you home.
And yes, it drove the MAGA outrage machine crazy, which is how you know it landed. Artists sting because they don't need access. They just need a canvas and a conscience. Now to Jimmy Kimmel, who lives where jokes meet journalism. He's been fact-checking Trump in prime time for years, whether it was the healthcare fight where he put a literal human face, his newborn surgery, on pre-existing conditions, or the nightly monologues where he plays the tape, reads the Post, and lets Trump contradict Trump.
Sit in my room. Trump is toast.
I like that.
Trump is toast. Yeah, man.
And so you just kind of digest the news of the day.
It's an affirmation.
I'm glad some good is coming out of this stuff. This is Robert Mueller.
Robert Mueller putting the squeeze on the president. Just to relieve the stress. You know what I mean? It's a stress reliever.
And here we have...
That's Space Force.
That's the Space Force, yeah.
That's the beginning of Space Force. That's right.
Then came the Oscars moment. Kimmel reading a fresh Trump rant live, to an audience Trump cares about more than policy, more than staff, more than most things, the ratings crowd. That wasn't just a roast. That was a live demonstration of why powerful people hate comedians. The laugh is a public verdict, and it can't be spun after the fact. Put the two together and you see the pattern. Carrey frames the stakes, propaganda, grievance, the strongman cosplay.
We're now on day 3 of Trump's big, beautiful government shutdown. Democrats in the House and Senate have been working to find a way to keep millions of Americans on their health insurance while their Republican colleagues have been Googling how to Photoshop maracas into Nancy Pelosi's hands. Trump is said to be happy about all the coverage the shutdown's getting because he's not hearing Epstein, Epstein, Epstein all the time, which I have to say, I'm sorry to report that this statue that was removed from the National Mall last week is back up at the National Mall. A beautiful piece of art. It was installed to celebrate National Friendship Month. It's Trump with his former BF Jeff.
And Kimmel supplies the evidence. One paints the story, the other screens the receipts. Different mediums, same message. In a democracy, the joke is allowed to be bigger than the politician. And that's where Trump blows the fuse. Because for him, it's always been simple. Control the stage or break it. Praise me or pay. That's why you get the tantrums about licenses, the threats to networks, the ratings monologues, the posts that read like cease and desist letters written in all caps.
Speech, it ain't free no more.
What? It's not free no more?
Yeah, we're charging by the word now.
You're charging by the word? How much are you charging?
Depends on what you want to say. Like you want to say something nice about the president's beautiful thick yellow hair, or how he can do his makeup better than any broad. That's free.
Okay. All right. That seems reasonable.
But if you want to do a joke like he's so fat he needs 2 seats on the Epstein jet, that's for the course.
Can I just ask, just for clarity, because it's a pretty good joke, how much would that one cost me?
A couple of fingers, maybe a tooth, and you know how constipated he is.
So is this how things are going to go from now on?
We also got a new motto at the FCC. Sticks and stones may break your bones.
And? Well, the rest of that is, but I think, but words can never harm you.
Well, they can harm you now. Let's make sure you pick the right words. Capiche?
Okay, yeah, I guess I capiche, but I don't think, oh, it sounds like you got a call there, huh?
Hi, handsome. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry, Mr. President. Okay, you got it, sir. You got it. Bye.
What did he say?
Look, I gotta go. A couple of cases of Tylenol fell off a truck, and now I gotta figure out how to put autism in them.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that sounds tricky. So good luck with that, sir.
This isn't about taste, it's about power. Government officials do not get to threaten media with punishment because a monologue hurt their feelings. You don't have to take my word for it. Courts across the spectrum have said the quiet part out loud. When officials pressure private companies to suppress speech they don't like, that's unconstitutional coercion. That's not edgy, that's illegal. And when Kimmel puts that behavior on screen, he's not just roasting, he's documenting.
He's gunning for our journalists too. He's suing them, he's bullying them. Over the weekend, his foxy friend Pete Hegseth announced a new policy that requires journalists with Pentagon press credentials to sign a pledge promising not to report information that hasn't been explicitly authorized for release. That includes unclassified information. They want to pick and choose what the news is. I know that's not as interesting as muzzling a comedian, but it's so important to have a free press, and it is nuts that we aren't paying more attention to it. Walter Cronkite must be spinning in his grave right now. He's dead, right? Yeah. Look, I never imagined.
And here's the thing, Trump can't fix with a press release. Every time he rages, the audience grows. It's the oldest rule of the internet and the newest rule of politics. Threaten the joke and you supercharge the joke. Try to muzzle a monologue and you make it travel farther. It's the Streisand effect in a red tie. That Oscars clapback, it ricocheted through news cycles, feeds, and group chats faster than any angry post could catch. The more he insistently tells people not to look, the more people hit play.
And I am a tiny part of the Disney Corporation. They welcomed me back on the air, and I thank them for that. And I think unjustly, this puts them at risk. The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke.
The president is unhinged. He is unwell. What are you doing? A lot of folks
on your side are too. I don't control.
Oh my God, please. That performance in front of the generals, that
I didn't see it.
is so dangerous. You know I serve on Foreign Affairs and Appropriations. This is a collision of those two things. Our allies are looking elsewhere. Our enemies are laughing.
I just left
You
the
have a
speaker's
president
side.
who is, you have a president who is unwell.
What's the dark secret then? It's not a plot twist, it's a character study. For all the tough talk, the brand lives and dies by applause. The greatest sin is not disagreement, it's disobedience. A painter who won't stay in his lane, a late night host who won't hand over the mic, a joke that refuses to be scared, that's what melts the gold. Here's why it matters. This isn't theater criticism, it's civics. Free speech isn't a vibe you extend to your friends, it's a right that protects the words you hate to hear.
Brendan Carr, tried to backtrack when he said, "Oh, I didn't really mean to sound like the mafioso," as Ted Cruz put it, and did the little accent. And as always, Donald Trump comes riding in and makes it clear as day that this was government pressure, posting on Truth Social before Jimmy Kimmel came out. I can't believe he has his job back. I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. In the process, Trump has basically made Kimmel unfireable. At this point, Disney, even if his ratings go down to 3 people watching it, will not be able to do it because now he has become the lightning rod, the symbol, the avatar for this fight about the First Amendment and government overreach. And I think it's important as well that we just saw before we came out here that it looks like Jim Comey is going to be indicted in a few days. Donald Trump on Truth Social. Let's get rid of Eric Siebert because he doesn't want to bring charges. We'll get someone in there who will. And lo and behold, we're going off, checking off our enemies list. It's all part of the same puzzle.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple, just like dominoes, one by one. They'll go down.
That was also in 2022, and I wonder, how did that guy turn into this guy?
Who would you like to see replace Kimmel on late night?
Well, a lot of people, anybody could replace him. Guy had no talent. Kimmel he was fired, he had no talent. He's a whack job, but he had no talent, and more importantly than talent, he had no, because a lot of people have no talent, they get ratings. But he had no ratings.
Well, I do tonight.
When a leader telegraphs that critics should be punished, that a comedian's job or a network's future depends on how nicely they talk about him, he's not arguing about content, he's telling you how he plans to govern. If the punchline needs permission, so will your post, your protest, your press. It never stops with the comic. Jim Carrey understood that early, Jimmy Kimmel shows it nightly, and the country gets a test every time the outrage cycle spins up. Do we want government officials deciding which jokes are allowed? Because that's the road we're on when threats replace arguments.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, I want you to know sometimes when I watch you striding across the White House lawn so confidently, with so much masculinity, I'll admit it, I get sexually aroused. Thank you for breathing life back into my once slumbering penis.
That was very well stated, listen.
That Trump's approval rating is the lowest of any president at this point in his term. Since they've been doing polls like this, at least 80 years, maybe 90 years, according to a nonpartisan research group, a majority of Americans, 52%, agreed Trump is a dangerous dictator whose power should be limited before he destroys American democracy. Yes, we really need to stop him before he becomes president. You find yourself having to tell people I'm not Hitler, something is wrong. That means it's time to do a self-inventory. When your wife has to answer questions about her husband being a Hitler, it might be time to reel it in a bit. Book by Bob Woodward that Trump's former chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Mark Milley, said Donald is, quote, the most dangerous person to this country and fascist to the core, which is a strong, where would he get an idea like that?
I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within. Not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
Just a former president suggesting he'll use the military against his fellow citizens for exercising their freedom of speech. Nothing to worry about, folks. Seriously, when is he going to grow that little mustache already? Because if there's only 3 weeks left, you got to get started. You can't, it doesn't just appear.
Let me be crystal clear, because this show deals in evidence, not vibes. Everything we're talking about tonight is fact-based and publicly documented. Carrey's body of political art and public statements, Kimmel's ACA monologues, nightly segments, and the live Oscars clapback, Trump's own speeches and posts about ratings, media, and punishing critics. You don't have to guess. It's all on mainstream broadcasts, official social feeds, and widely covered interviews. If you want us to drop a source sheet in the description, say sources in the comments and we'll pin it. Where does this go next? Expect more of the same triangle. Trump posts, comedians amplify, the story gets bigger, and the outrage posts make it bigger still. That's not a glitch. It's the immune system working. Carrey will keep painting the moment because artists archive what the news forgets. Kimmel will keep rolling the tape because jokes age better when they're married to evidence. And any politician who thinks the First Amendment is optional will keep learning the same lesson. Comedians are funny, but they are not afraid.
Actor Jim Carrey taking time away from Hollywood to devote himself to political art. His latest work, a garish portrait of White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders. The message that he tweeted called her a so-called Christian whose only purpose in life is to lie for the wicked. Monstrous, he says.
In America, in the United Kingdom, across the globe. And we need to be clear, shamelessness is not and will never be a superpower. It is the mark of a villain. Kidnapping children is not what great nations do. Almost half of America at this moment believes there is a sinister deep state diabolically plotting to what? Give them health care? What is the sinister plan here? Sure, I can afford the miracle drug for restless leg syndrome. I should take the pills, I guess. We in America are misinformed. Reality shows have warped our idea of what a hero is.
Now I want to hear from you. Do you think comedy actually changes minds, or does it just reveal what people already know but need permission to laugh at? Which Kimmel segment or Carrey piece hit you the hardest, and why? Drop a comment with a link so others can check it out. If you're here for reporting with receipts and a little edge, hit like, smash subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's next. The algorithm loves engagement, but more importantly, it tells the gatekeepers that facts still beat bluster. I'm not asking you to agree with every joke. I am asking you to agree with this. In a free country, nobody, not a president, not a host, not me, not you, gets to decide which laughs are legal. That's the line. And tonight, thanks to Jim Carrey's brush and Jimmy Kimmel's mic, it's lit up in neon. Stay sharp. See you in the comments.